Yeah, we're going to get this thing started here in a little bit. NFC North football talk with Russell Wayne. Thanks for popping by. Oh, good morning. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have to be waiting right there until the end right there where Panay Sewell catches that touchdown pass right there. Tight end one. Welcome one. Welcome all. It is the NFC North Talk with me, your host, Russell Wayne, and it is July the 18th, 2023. And oh my gosh, we are almost ready for some football activities. Oh my gosh, we got Christopher Wright in the comments. Good morning, all. Let's go, Lions. Jeremy wants me to link him already. Man, I get the intro to the show. And what up, Russell Wayne? Jeremy Ballrick from Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions. It used to be kneecap biting with Jeremy Ballrick, but now it's with the Detroit Lions because he realizes that we are just in service to the Detroit Lions, and they don't even pay us yet, and they love us. But I would love to have a conversation with Jeremy Ballrick, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to throw it into the comments right there. And for anybody else that wants to have a football talk right here, today I was going to come in and we were going to talk a little bit about these Minnesota Vikings and what their training camp battles were going to be. And I don't know, man. I just think that, that's going to eat up all the viewers and nobody really wants to talk about the Minnesota Vikings, right? I mean, come on, your offense is going to be really good. And the Madden rating just came out for your one good player, Justin Jefferson was rated as a 99 overall on Madden. I have no problem with that. No
I'll be
problem.
on, but I'm going to be off camera because I'm outside and on my phone and I can't get a good angle when I'm holding it.
Oh, I like that picture of smoking Jeremy B right there. But Mike Abraham will be in here in a minute talking a little bit. But I did promise yesterday we were going to spend some time today talking a little bit of these Minnesota Vikings and their training camp battles. And I don't know. I would probably have to look up half of their defense, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, their offense is way better than their defense. I mean, like I said, a new coach who's better with the scheme, eventually those guys will get it and play better, but it's going to take them time to gel because they're young. They don't have those talented all pros on the defense anymore.
Yeah, but that should make in our light here. We're trying to find out what the interesting training camp battles would be for them. What are some of those no-name guys? And I don't even know if I want to bore my audience with the fact that I'm going to pick up a whole bunch of crap guys on their team that I have to try to justify for them. I don't want to try to justify any of these guys.
Their most interesting ones are going to be at defensive end because you don't know who it's going to be. I don't even know the names of the players, but it's going to be who shows out for them in camp and can take that job and do something with it. Because other than that, I don't know. They're okay at D tackle. They really didn't lose anybody there. Their linebacker room is mediocre, and their secondary. You know, you got Harrison Smith over under a 5 games before he's injured, and
So-
Lewis Cine.
So they're praying. They're praying that somebody's going to come in and help that. Good morning, Tina. It is great to see you on here. This is our football talking time right here. This is the time that our wives allow us to get out here and, and talk a little bit of football in the morning. And I don't really want to waste any more time. If there's no Viking fans that are going to come on here and defend that trash of a defense team, I ain't going to try to name any of these damn players. What do you think, Mike?
What do I think about the Minnesota Vikings defense?
No, I'm trying to get training camp battles right here, and I don't think anybody can name anybody on their defense, so I don't want to waste my time with it.
I named 2.
I mean, Lewisine, Booth. There's a guy named Evans that's going into his second year. There you go. There's the hopeful right there. Justin Jefferson was a 99 overall on Madden. It has been leaked. I have no problem with that. How you doing this morning, Mike?
Oh, I'm good, man. Feeling great. It's my day off from work, so I love talking football with you.
So we're almost to the point here where we can start talking about something in training camp.
Today's a day 1, right?
It is a day 1 for some teams. Our
Right.
report on July 23rd.
Okay.
And there's really nothing for us to talk about as far as Lion fans go, because we definitely hit up some of the training camp battles yesterday during yesterday's episode. But I didn't get to go through all of them with Mike. So while we do have a couple Lion fans on here, we do have a Bear fan on here too. Bear Down
Yep.
Mike is in the house. And where did we leave off yesterday, Mike?
Well, my internet cut out. You were on the running backs, but you said you went through everyone.
I did.
The running backs.
I did, but some of these viewers probably weren't on there yesterday because we went through the running backs, and then we went through quarterbacks and running backs, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would love to hear your thoughts on the offensive line battles. I mean, let's start with you.
I'm super excited about Vaitai coming back healthy, taking a pay cut to stay. It dawned on me that, we haven't seen this guy play in 2 years. So I went back and I looked at his time in Philadelphia. The guy was an absolute beast. If he returns to form like he did in Philadelphia when we signed him to that big contract, and the injury that he had is a back injury where he had major surgery on his back. And it's kind of a ludicrous proposition as a doctor, to go and tell someone, yeah, go back and play pro football now that I've surgically repaired your back. But the guy wants to play. The doctors have cleared him to play. He's eager to show that, he's still got something left. And if this guy returns to even 3/4 of the form he had in Philadelphia when he came over to the Lions, oh man, this line, you got Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell. These guys are studs, and we've got depth. We've got Jonah Jackson and Graham Glasgow. And I just think that they are going to have a banner year, and it's going to be finally said it for the last 2 years, Russ. Maybe we can see all 5 of these guys together at the same time.
Yeah, and you were talking about that last year. And man, I love this offensive line, and they're getting younger too. I put up a post the other day that had the picture of the 3 guys that were vying for this right guard job. So it is Vitai's job to lose, right? And Glasgow came in. I do believe that he's more of a depth piece, but he could come into training camp and compete for that. And then this 5th round draft rookie, Corby Sorsdahl, I think he's a long shot to win that starting right guard job, but I don't think it's out of the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to ask you, Corby Sorsdahl, for what you know about him, does he have any chance at beating out Vaitai for this right guard job?
Well, I think he has a chance because Vitai's been so long. And this young, hungry, he's seasoned 2. He played 5 years with William and Mary. So I think he has a shot for sure. Graham Glasgow, I see him taking a lot of reps at center just as insurance against Frank Ragnow's toe injury. But Colby Sorsdahl, this guy could be a gem based on the stats and the scouting report coming out. Obviously, I never saw him play at William and Mary. I'm not tuning into Ivy League football. But I certainly like that. And I trust the process. And, the kid's got all the measurables. So, yeah, absolutely. He has a chance. And I'm pretty sure that Hank Fraley is, not a guy who's going to lock in on somebody based on your reputation. You're going to have to come into camp and prove it.
Right on. How about you, Jeremy B? What do you think about Corby Sorsdahl maybe getting in there and competing for that right guard position, or is that just a pipe dream?
It's 50-50, and it all depends on the health of Vitai's back. If Vaitai is playing at the level he was before he got injured at the end of year 1 of Dan Campbell's reign at right guard, he has no chance. But we're talking about a back injury, and back injuries can be tricky. Even though they're surgically repaired and they say they're rehabbed and can return to work, that doesn't mean you're still 100% ready to start in the NFL.
Can I jump back in there too?
Yeah.
None of these guys could start. Where does Jonah Jackson play guard, right?
Yeah, he plays left guard.
Yeah, so you've got Taylor Decker at left tackle, Jonah Jackson at left guard, Ragnow in the middle. Then you got the right guard, who is going to be, okay, so there it is. It's Vaitai then at the right guard, and Penei Sewell at right tackle.
I mean,
and I'm looking forward to seeing our 5 starters play together for the first time in 3 years. The last 2 seasons, we have not seen all 5 starters on the field.
No, we never have, in fact.
And yet we've had a top 3 and a top 5 offensive line in those years consecutively.
Yep.
Yeah, with a revolving door at
right guard.
And I love it because here we are, like the most solid part of the Lions team is the part of the team that has never been good for a long period of time, any long stretch of period of time here in Detroit. And the offensive line being solid, that's where they put all of their money. That's why we have one of the highest paid offenses. It's because of the offensive line, not because of Jared Goff or anything like that. So I love the fact that we put the resources into it, and it's looking good for the next 3-4 years. So not a lot of competition there.
Right. We have Decker signed through 25. We have Ragnow signed through 26. We have Vaitai through 26 if he remains on this restructured contract the entire time. We have Sewell let's see, we drafted him in 21. So with the 5th-year option, that's 26.
Right.
Jonah Jackson, we should be restructuring him this year before he gets to the end of that last year of the contract next year.
Yeah,
and extending him out if he continues to play the way he is, and then we're solid for the next 2 to 3 years on the O-line.
So what you're saying is Brad Holmes is Mr. Wizard when it comes to handling the contract negotiations.
Yes, I mean, did we overpay Decker that year when we got him?
No.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because he was paid at the top end of the top 10 tackles at the time, but he wasn't playing as a top 10 tackle at that time. He is now, so now it looks like it was worth it. But at the time, there was a lot of questions about his health. Remember, he's been in and out of the lineup every year.
Right.
And so the last couple of years, he's played almost every game. So he really can't complain too much. What was it? He missed in 21. He missed the first 6 games, and that's when Penei Sewell moved to right tackle and moved Vaitai to right guard. And then the next 11 games, there was no sacks allowed.
Yeah, that's impressive when you look at that stretch, and it's just being undersold just because he out of sight, out of mind. You have this whole NFL that's like, and he didn't play last year, and when it's set up like that, you're like, man, he wasn't there. So that means he didn't play. No, that means that we're getting this guy back. And he was very solid, and everybody else became solid around him. Like you said, in 2021, what you alluded to right there. And now you get to set him into this already loaded offensive line, and it's really exciting.
The only thing that was sad about year one is as soon as Taylor Decker got healthy, Ragnow went out, and that's when we had the emergence of Evan Brown, and we let Evan Brown go and become the starting center for the Seattle Seahawks.
Everywhere Evan Brown. Well, he became the starter. I mean, that's it.
Right.
We weren't going to give him starter money. We already have a starter in Frank Ragnow. Go ahead, Mike.
It seemed like overpaid Taylor Decker, but the left tackle salaries skyrocketed since then. Now he seems like a bargain. I mean, he's no
right.
But Larry getting or Armstead or some of these guys that have gotten these big contracts, Orlando Brown Jr. at left tackle. Now he seems like a bargain.
Yeah.
Right, because you're talking about a top 15, top 10 tackle all day, and he's making at the bottom end of top 10 money. So now it's a bargain. But at the time, it literally cost us Glasgow from this roster when we re-signed him. And then what made me angry is when we signed Vaitai, and we actually signed him to $1 million more than what Glasgow was signed in Denver. And it made me go, what the is Bob Quinn doing? And when we drafted Penei Sewell, I know right now Matt Stafford was sitting on his couch in LA watching the draft, and he goes, those MFers did it.
Yeah. He probably threw his remote at the television, like, oh my God, why didn't you ever draft a tackle when I was here? No, but they did. They drafted Taylor Decker, and we
drafted 8 tackles. We drafted 8 tackles in Matt Stafford's tenure. They just didn't work out until Decker.
Yeah, I mean, it's, when they pay these guys, and I don't believe in this whole overpaying thing. It's like, it's called market value, guys. So when your time comes up to get paid, it doesn't matter where you're ranked in that top 10. If you're one of the top players, you're going to get top 5 money because it's your turn to get paid. Right. And then the contract looks like a genius contract 3 years later. Now we got Jared Goff. That was the highest paid quarterback. Oh, my God. I can't believe the Rams did that. And now this contract looks like a bargain basement deal at $30 million with 15 guys that are making over 40. So
now he's like 16th or 17th in the list of quarterbacks paid. And he's playing at a top 10 level behind an O-line that is top 5 level. So I said all along, if our O-line is as good as advertised, Jared Goff will be good here as long as we keep putting weapons around him. And what have we done?
I'm looking through some of these comments right here. Tina's in there again. It says, Mike, thank you for being her friend on Facebook. And she is a real person. She proved that she was a real person by naming our head coach and our quarterback yesterday. She is a football fan, and she just likes us. So based,
thank you.
And based, Jaron says, what are we talking about today? Well, we were talking about the Minnesota Vikings, and then half of our viewership dropped off. So we stopped talking about the Minnesota Vikings and started talking about the Lions. And it seems like we have some people in here wanting to talk about the Lions. So we're rehashing, giving Smoking Jeremy B and Main Event Mike a chance to, respond to some of these training camp battles. And we're on the offensive line.
Gardner John.
And I've heard good things about that Colby Gaynor, the UDFA we picked up, that he's been doing well, and he may make a spot on this active 53. And there was another one that we got in the UDFAs, and his name's slipping my mind right now. But both of them are guard/centers.
Hey,
and the thing I like about that is that the guard/center, that's a guy that can plug in to either position. Because left guard and right guard, the only thing that changes is which hand's dominant. And it's funny that our UDFAs, one's left hand dominant and one's right hand dominant. So one's a left guard, one's a right guard.
Yeah, I love the fact that he is picking up these offensive linemen. And because our offensive line, we're spending so much money on it, you do have to get younger sooner rather than later. And do you think that they'll re-sign and extend Jonah Jackson?
I think they should. He's been playing as a top 15 guard. Does he give up sacks and have some mental breakdowns? What guard doesn't? They all do it. Even though Vaitai didn't give up any sacks, he was like third in penalties that year, but he didn't give up a sack.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like we've already invested some money. I mean, do you think that they eventually just move on from Decker and just kind of have Sewell move over to the left tackle when he gets his big extension? And
it'll be when we trade Jared Goff and get another first round pick from somebody who's going to have an early first round pick. That is what'll happen. And that's when you move on from Decker, because he's only got 2 years after this on his contract, as I mentioned. So you have to look for that next guy to fill in. And plus, he's been injury prone. You say what you want. He's good when he's on the field, but when he's hurt, he's not helping us. Because tackle is our weakest depth, I think, personally, in the O-line room.
I think that we should change the name from injury prone to injury recently.
Or injury laden.
But, and now, I mean, because the thing is like, I've heard this injury prone given to people. Like, I've heard that David Montgomery's injury prone. No, he was injured once last year, and it was for that extended period of time. Other than that, he's been a rock solid guy. Taylor
right. I mean, injury prone is somebody that's been injured multiple times in consecutive seasons. Injured recently is exactly what David Montgomery was, because prior to that, he had no injuries.
I understand where you're going with it, Russ, but when you talk about guys like Watkins, there's no other word to describe it but injury prone.
Right. And Sammy Watkins, what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make is Taylor Decker is not injury prone. He was injured for an extended period of time, and then he came back from the injury and then made his impact again.
Sure, but you heard that argument before that we should go away with the term injury prone because it's really true that it's a misnomer. But guys like Watkins, there's no other word for it. I mean, he's prone to injury. Sometimes I think maybe it's the guys just aren't tough enough.
You realize that the offensive line is the hardest position in there, and people get injured in the offensive line. Very, very few Joe Thomases come along to where they just play all the games. Like
Brown.
Right. So, fair enough. half of my soul dies every year watching the Vikings. So Babe Byron is obviously a Vikings fan. Hey, man, I feel for you. I mean, I've been challenging Viking fans to come on here and give me football reasons why they're going to be good, and it's been a fail. It's been a fail. I mean, I'll give Jamez some credit. He comes on here and defends his team, but he defends his team with nonsense and like homerism. My fifth round rookies are going to be great type of nonsense. And that doesn't fly when we're talking about NFC North. You know, we got to be realistic, right? I've been a Lions fan. I've had to be realistic for 30 years. And now my team's good and I don't know what to do.
Let's create. Yeah.
Let's make a podcast. And it's like, we thought, you know, we've made it through, man. We've made it through a lot of bad years, a lot of bad phone conversations, Mike Abraham.
Yeah.
Of what the hell is Bob Quinn doing? What the hell is Matt Stafford doing?
It was Boob Quinn and Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
The only thing Boob Quinn could draft or do anything with was offensive linemen, but he never kept them other than Taylor Decker and Ragnow. But that's because their contract wasn't up when our current regime got here.
And if you need any proof, just go to mattpatriciastupidface.com and you get all the proof that you need, because all it is Matt Patricia Stupid Face. Log on there and you can see it.
Also known as Pencil Boy.
Pencil Boy. So Tina says the offensive line will be great if they stay healthy. Uriel Jackson says Daniel Sims, pop up Detroit Lions, one family, one pride.
Like it up or love it up.
Like it up or love it up. That's Uriel right there. Tina says that Jared Goff needs to stay healthy and throw.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's every NFL team right now that's depending on their starting quarterback. 0 people want to go to their backup. Okay.
Except for Arizona, they want to go to their backup because he's a better QB than Kyler Murray.
For Jeremy.
What's that?
So, Jeremy, you're an honest guy. You always call him like you see him, and I know that, and I appreciate that about you. Honestly, have you ever been as optimistic about a Detroit Lions season as you are now?
Not since 1993.
Even in 1993, do you think that team was even as close as good as this one?
Yes. And the reason why I say that, the defense was proven. There was no question marks. We still have question marks on the defensive side of the ball. So right there, you got a solid defense. You had Benny Blades in the backfield, opposite whoever the other guy was that his name eluded me. You had good corners. You had solid linebackers and a front four that was nasty with Robert Porcher and Luther Ellis, Jerry Ball. The list goes on in that room.
Right.
And then you had an O-line that was just average. And everybody says that O-line was great. No, it was average. They did allow sacks. They did allow Barry Sanders to be the guy who got tackled the most behind an O-line in the history of the NFL in a season. But yet he had the most rushes for over 20 yards in a season in the same year.
So you actually thought in 93 that the Lions had a shot at the Super Bowl?
Yes, they did.
I didn't think they did. I thought they were good enough to get in the playoffs, but I never, ever breathed those words together in a sentence, Super Bowl and Lions in that year. This year does it feel different to you, Jeremy, this year?
Yes, because nationally, we're getting more hype. We've never gotten this much hype nationally, but it's a different era of media with all the streaming services and everything else. Everything's more readily available. The information's more readily available. You can see it everywhere. Everybody's writing about how good the Lions will be. And they're right. There's 3 guys that'll derail this offense with injuries if they get hurt. That's Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or David Montgomery.
I agree with one of those 3. I mean, I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but this team has proven when Amon-Ra St. Brown is out that Jared Goff will find Tom Kennedy or whoever, guy that was bagging groceries last week to be the playmaker, and that's been proven. We've seen it come in when Amon-Ra's been injured, and the rest of the, and all the rest of the playmakers that are there. And if David Montgomery goes out, I mean, you got Craig Reynolds that proved that he could tote the rock. Justin Jackson or whoever, Corpse or whatever, I could rush for 100 yards behind this offensive line.
No,
so,
yeah. 21 carries at 4.3 yards per carry, because that's how much free contact you get.
Yep, and I would say you could even get me behind the line of scrimmage by a half a yard right there, and that would still give me 4 yards of carry. So, yes, I could rush for 100 yards behind this line.
I don't know, 6.40 time. I know.
Give me at least a 5-1. I can at least get where Brady was, okay? I got some greasy, fast grandpa speed.
I would bet $100 that Tom Brady.
Oh gosh. Don't
I'm
make
I'm
me
at that
call
5
him
second
out.
40 myself, and I found that out the hard way yesterday at work. A tire rolled off the stack for the dead tires and started to go towards the street, and I had to do O.J. Simpson over another stack of tires, run and catch it before it got there.
Looking like Link Hayes from the Mob Squad.
Running through the airport.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I had to hurdle that stack of tires just like a suitcase.
Nice.
My gosh. Oh, wow. Tina's coming out and saying, I believe the Detroit Lions will win 14 games. And
I still say the floor is 10 and the ceiling's 13, and I see us winning 11 or 12, actually.
Well, you're not Tina. That was Tina that said that, and I already know that you're where your floors are. But good, nice. I love the fact that Tina is out there. She's throwing herself out there. 14 wins. I got us at 12. I think we're going to win 12 games this year. Where are you at, Mike? Where's your?
I like 11.
You like 11? I got to. We did that last year too. I had us at 8, and you had us at 7, right?
Correct.
And this year,
I was one of the few that said 7 to 10 the whole time and never wavered.
Yeah, because you're always right, Jeremy. But
no,
and because you use a 7 to 10.
What number on it while we got you on?
I always do a floor and a ceiling. I've always done that the entire time I predict.
You always be right, and you have 3 games that you can be wrong in. Right. 7 to 10 wins. You might as well say, man, somewhere between 3 and 13 wins. I think we're going to be this year. Oh, see, I was right.
No, I don't go that wide. That's a.
Come on, Jeremy.
Come on. Give us a number that you hang on.
11.
You're going.
Okay.
We got
11. I see 4 definite hard games on the road, and I'm not including week 1 in that because I've said the Lions can win that game the entire time. I see 4 games that are hard on the road for the Lions. Mm-hmm. And those ones, I don't see us winning. You got Baltimore, you got
Dallas,
the LA Chargers. Dallas is at a different point in the season than it's been in the past. It could be a totally different thing, especially if Mr. Dakota Rain Prescott gets hurt. They're in trouble. They don't have Cooper Rush anymore to bail them out.
What an overrated team. Dallas is always overrated. This would be the first time that they've been rated where they should be rated.
Well,
they always
second or third in the division.
It's like
Stephon Gilmore is a big addition. These guys are Dallas is going to be hot this year. Dak Prescott's got a chip on his shoulder. It's let's face it, one of the players that is on a hot seat this year, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I've said it all along because he has a $60 million cap hit next year, and it costs him less to cut him. So he's on the hot seat. If he makes it to the playoffs and they fail again, Dakota's going to be gone next year. He will be a cap casualty.
Jeremy, did you see the interview with Brad Holmes and Pete Schrager? Did you watch the whole thing?
I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but I watched a lot of it.
I strongly recommend you watch the entire thing, especially the back half. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. But what a great insight to Brad Holmes it is, and I just recommend it to everyone.
And, doing my research, I love the fact that Brad Holmes has been friends with Hendon Hooker's family for 15 years.
He could see it coming. He could see it coming. He knew. I did get through half of it. I haven't seen the other, but I did see the backstory, and it's just, this is a great story of, like, if you want to know how to make it in any business, just listen to this story on where he came from, because you would think that, wow, he worked his way up from, being a scout, and there's much more to it than that, because you do whatever you can do. He started out in PR. He wasn't even in scouting, and he just went and got himself around the people that he wanted to be around, and then he did all the little things for him, made wristbands for the running back coach, and that story was, you're right, Mike. I can't wait to finish that thing, because it's like, do whatever you can do to serve other people, and you will be successful.
And he said, "They're never tell you." It's a great interview, and I like how Pete Schrager handled the interview, and it allowed Brad Holmes to open up and speak. And honestly, it's just two guys having a conversation. It's super interesting. I recommend it to all of our viewers out there. Can I give the show a plug before I go?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
North open mic every Monday night at 7 p.m. broadcasting live into Facebook. Join our groups, NFC North, The Huddle, Detroit Lions, Villain Squad, and join the conversation. Open mic night, 7 p.m. every Monday. Join us, Russell Wayne, myself, and a panel of knuckleheads.
And a panel of knuckleheads. Hey, Mike, have a great day. And it's always good talking football with you. And here we are with, only a week left to training camp. And that's main event Mike. You can join him each and every Monday right here. Let me go through these little spots right here. We are broadcasting live right now into the Detroit Lion News. And as far as I'm concerned, Joe Chap, you're a great guy. Thank you for allowing us to broadcast into your platform. We love being able to bring Lions content and NFC North content to your page on a daily basis. The Detroit Lions Villain Squad is our brand new page. Please go give us a follow, because we're on our way to 1,000 people. We had to shut our page down and start over about a month ago, and we appreciate you being able to do that and follow us right there. If you are a Bear fan, Mike the Bear fan right here is the guy that you need to go see, or CNG Podcast. These guys put out great Bear content. And then, of course, Bill the Packer fan. If you're a Packer head and you love getting into that Packer type of news, then he'll be able to help you out. But it's been kind of a little bit of homering here for the last couple of days, but I don't really care. If there's a couple Packer fans that are out there, if you got a question, go ahead and throw a question. And Based Jiren says Dak deserves to be the highest paid QB in the league. Please, Dallas, pay him. I want you to pay him too. I want you to give him all of your money. I want you to
if they don't restructure him or cut him, they are giving him what, a third almost of the salary cap for one player?
Yeah. Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I'm not even a homer. It's just facts. Dak Prescott likes to run the football. And when you have an exciting guy that can run the football, we seem to discard the fact that you need to pass the football too. And
that exactly is why I love Hendon Hooker. He's a quarterback first, unless the pocket breaks down, and then he runs.
Right. He reminds me of a young Warren Moon.
Randall Cunningham. Both of those guys were quarterbacks first, ran second.
Yeah, I love those two comparisons right there. I as a Lions fan, you have to be happy to the Madden type of deal that our GM is putting us through. We got good young talent, and then you have a quarterback like Jared Goff to lead your team and you have nothing to worry about. And then you have the heir apparent sitting right behind him, willing to and able to be able to play on a rookie contract for $1.50 a year once these contracts get out there. I mean, what a great management of the cap by our general manager, Brad Holmes.
And let's also toot the horn of our money guy, Matt Dunstall. He's the one that handles the contracts.
Well, I like that. I mean, here's what it comes down to. Like, Dan Campbell is going to have a coaching tree. And there's a lot of people that think that the people that he hired are actually smarter than he is, but that don't matter because it is Dan Campbell's leadership. So Dunstall is part of the Brad Holmes general management. He has a guy that handles the money part of that. So that in itself, just having that guy is a testament to Brad Holmes.
And other than Hank Fraley, Matt Dunstall is the only guy in the front office or coaching staff, like Hank Fraley, that made it past the Quinn Trasha era.
Right. And
so keeping him was very smart, because it showed him, hey, we know this guy does good things with contracts because look at what he was doing, even though he had trash players.
Here's Mitch right here. Dak and Kirk are nearly identical career numbers, both mid-tier.
Yep, and I have said all along it's Dak Cousins and Kirk Prescott.
Kirk Cousins.
Dak Cousins and Kirk Prescott. I said it right.
Dak Cousins or Kirk Prescott. I like that. I mean, you like that? But I mean, these guys, like, I put Goff in there too. It all has to do with how your offense is running and what you can do with what they're giving you, and Goff has just been a career good guy. He's just good. He's been good. He's been good his career. Even in the bad years, he was not that bad. His worst year is better than Justin Fields' best year.
Yeah, and that was his first year here.
So I mean, I don't know. We love the exciting quarterback. I rest on that. That's why when they say, "Oh, we need a franchise quarterback," the only reason we like Hendon Hooker better than Jared Goff is because he can run the ball too. They both got good arms, but we like the guy that can escape the pocket. You like Dak Prescott better because he can escape the pocket, and you'll sacrifice the arm to get it. Prove me wrong. Put it in the comments. Crack Prescott is what Ural Jackson calls him.
Crack Cousins?
Crack Cousins. And then Sarah says that Dak, Kirk, and Goff Carr are all the same dude. There's
pretty much.
There's truth in that.
Yeah, they all need a good team around them to be successful, and that's a fact. And did they get better? Yes, they were able to sign their rookie, so that made them younger, but it didn't make them better talent-wise for the Vikings.
Oh, man, I'm looking for some of these other ones in here if are online. John Kapler was on there. John, what's going on? The O-lines are really good. And our new running backs will be monsters. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on here for about another 10, 15 more minutes. Let's throw the link into the comments. Who wants to have a conversation? Who wants to have a conversation?
And let's also offer a prayer up for Chad Datima, who had to be in the hospital since last Friday. I don't know if he's out yet, but that's why we haven't heard much from him.
Wow, Chad was in the comments yesterday.
Yeah, he was in the hospital all weekend.
He didn't say anything about that, but so.
He messaged me personally.
So, Chad, our prayers go out to you, brother. Here comes Base Jiren. He's got to come in.
Hey, and he's a Vikings fan. Holy shit. He is not in witless protection. Hallelujah.
Nope. And I'm from Louisiana too. Go figure.
The Brave, the home of the
Wow.
Brave, right there.
When Case
Yeah,
Keenum gave the
unfortunately.
Minnesota Vikings their only playoff win in the past 2 decades.
What about it?
Remember that? Because that Kirk Cousins went out
Unfortunately.
and Keenum completed the pass where it looked like the whole defense got stopped by the ghost of Prince.
Right? And just the simple, and the fact that they were even in that position, it was Keenum's fault. But you can't tell people that.
I know. I understand.
Casey Keenum, there's another guy right there. That's a guy that should be a career backup. He gets you a couple wins. Nice dude. But
And I warned people. I called the Eagles game happening. I said, dude, you can yuck it up and all that now, but that guy's going to melt down when it matters the most. They were just excited to get rid of Teddy because the Vikings fandom loves just finding a singular person to hate. Because for what I've understood, for what I've come to know, that the Vikings fan base loves to be miserable. It's like the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
they also like to draft backup quarterbacks in the first round that are going to be career backups. So I want you to help me make sense this, because I wanted to go deep dive into your defense, but then I was like, it was just too much energy. But I know that there are some training camp battles for the Minnesota Vikings that are going to be interesting on defense, with maybe some names that this fan base that is watching this show doesn't know. So can you help me out with that a little bit?
I mean, really, the only position battles that I'm worried about right now, they come on the DBs. It's whether or not a Caleb Evans or what's his name, Andrew Booth Jr. pan out. Because if they pan out, they're actually going to have a decent secondary, and it should help out Flores. It should help him do what he wants to do, and the defense should be better than what people think, even though they lost a lot. Although a lot of the people that they cut and got rid of weren't good anymore, like Eric Kendricks. It pains me because at one time he was the best all-ball linebacker in the league, in my opinion. But the drop-off was just so bad. You couldn't keep him, especially at that price. But it basically, the season's going to hinge on whether or not Caleb Evans and Andrew Booth Jr.
I do have a question for you also there, Duran. Why does Quezzy allow teams in his own division to fleece him in the draft?
I don't know. I don't know. I think, he kind of made up that with the Hawk trade, because I like the Hawk trade. Like, there wasn't, those weren't picks I was worried about. And, I think it was one of those, it was just a fair trade all around. And, because I think I like what Hawk brings to the table, and they're eventually going to re-sign him. I don't know if it's going to get done before training camp or anything like that, but I do think it's going to eventually get done. He brings a aspect to the offense that they sorely need right now. And if Addison pans out, it's going to look even better. But trust me, I'm not a fan of his draft day trades. I did not like the fact that he moved down all the way to 32. Didn't get a future first round pick, and then basically trades Watson to the Packers. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I honestly, for the Vikings, I didn't like the Hawkinson trade, because we've dealt with Hawkinson. We know what Hawkinson is here, and you guys will like the good parts of him. He will catch the ball, and he will fall down the minute that he catches it. He's a below average blocker. That was the biggest thing. So if he starts to block there, that would be a good thing for you. But giving up a second and a third, even though you only move down to the fourth and fifth, the second and the third is where you're going to pick a lot of your starters. And when you have a team that you need to rebuild, you can't be giving away high draft capital for your future, because you're missing your third round pick next year. And we get to pick it. Our team's already built. I
understand that, but it's I don't think that it's just for the holes that they have, I don't think they necessarily need a third round pick. You can find serviceable defenders and whatnot in either second or below round. I'm not worried about that. Now, see, if we need it, don't, thank God. I would be more concerned. But like as far as I don't think they're going to miss that third. I don't.
Well, the Lions drafted Hendon Hooker with their 3rd round pick. And you're telling me right now that you don't need your 3rd round pick. Like, that's
no,
crazy.
I'm not saying that they don't need it. I don't think they're going to miss it. Like, it comes to a point where you have to trust your front office. Now, if it does come to find out they needed it and the team just does nothing for the next 2 years, then you just start over. But I don't think for the positions that they need, they're going to necessarily miss the 3rd round pick. As far as Hooker, I'm not going to lie. I wanted the Vikings to get Hooker because I'm ready for Kirk to leave. But
when we did a mock draft, we had a Viking fan on here. I don't know if you know Jamez, but Jamez was on here and we did a mock draft and he gave me a 2nd and a 3rd round pick so he could move up from 23 to pick number 6 to pick Hendon Hooker as your franchise.
He would have been fired immediately if he were the GM.
But I'm just
sorry. I like Hendon Hooker, but no.
But what I'm saying is that's how high that's the type of players that you can get in the 3rd round. And especially with your team now with you got rid of your defensive starters. Now you are forcing these 2nd-year players to become starters. And then there's nothing after that. So you need those picks to replenish after these guys are forced into starting positions. So you hope that they do well.
Yeah.
I mean, but you never know. Evans.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you don't need them. Like I said, if Flores is as good as we think he is, then he can do a little more with a little less. Because like I said, they just missing a 3rd round pick. Like they have their 1st and 2nd. I'm not really worried about if they have significant home at the end of this year. Like, okay, well, we need to get a pass rusher or we need to get another, corner. You have the 1st and 2nd round to do that. So I'm not necessarily worried about they're not going to just have 5 picks this year like they did last year.
Well, in your defense, you're going to have an extra 5th round pick out of it because you're going to get our 5th round pick because you didn't just give us a 2nd and 3rd round pick. It was a 2nd and 3rd round pick, and then you got to trade back. So if Kwesi can pick those late round picks, then you're going to be in good shape. And I do think you did get a couple good late round picks. I don't like touting late round picks, but Dwayne McBride was a very good 7th round pick for you guys. And I'm not going to lie about it.
I don't know if he's going to make the roster right away unless he's going to bump, what's his name? Wangu out of the, off the roster. But I like that. I hope they can, if he doesn't make the 53, I hope they can sneak him to the practice squad. I have a bad feeling they're not going to be able to. So they're going to be forced to either roster him and get rid of Wangu, or they're going to have to just pray.
Well, I mean,
because I have a feeling that if Dwayne McBride hits the practice squad, he'll be poached.
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
That guy's got some breakaway speed. Like, he could be a gem for you guys. I mean, remember what was it? Willie Green? Was that the guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers, the 7th round pick? Was it Green? Willie Green? Yeah. Willie Green. That's who Dwayne McBride reminded me of. That greasy fast speed.
I had my 3 best day 3 sleeper picks at running back being Dwayne McBride, Roshan Johnson, and Eric Gray. And all 3 of them went day 3.
So before I get in there, I just wanted to, if you are a Viking fan and you're out there watching this, we're not all hate here. I like to push out the positive narratives for your team too. Offense should be very explosive. I don't think that you are losing something with Dalvin Cook. I don't know.
Trust me. Hey, I tell the fan base this all the time. He's the latest person that got thrown under the bus for Kirk. So that's what that is. Like he's slowed down a little bit, but people just they were 27th in attempts, and it's just like it seems like he would be doing really well. He'd be like 7 for 54, and then he ends the game with 13 rushes. You can't do that. KOC got 2 pass happy. That's what
when you watch the Vikings offense, when you're watching them, because let's say the Lions aren't on, they have a night game or whatever, and I'm paying attention, Kirk will audible out of running plays and do a play action or a pass play on first down. You see it all the time. Whereas I see Goff do the exact opposite. He looks at the defense and goes, "Oh, they're coming at me," and audibles to a run play.
Apparently, according to Kirk, he doesn't like to audible, but I'd have to take your word for it, because living in Louisiana is kind of hard to watch Vikings games. Like sometimes I get lucky, and they'll either somebody will be streaming it on YouTube, or
I'm going to introduce you. I want to introduce you to your new best friend, which is NFLHDTV.net.
I will definitely look that up.
$70 a year, and you can watch every single NFL game, every single MLB game, every MLS game, every sports channel for $70 a year.
Well, I certainly hope that they're going to drop Russell Wayne some money here for giving a nice drop and a nice little promo right there for NFL HG. You can send your checks payable to the Main Event 365
or to Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions, because I brought it up.
Wow.
Or send them to both of us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me props on my show. Calvin says that the Vikings sound for now like Lions did, old, but same talent, but lack depth. I mean, there might be some truth in that.
They lack defensive depth, but I like their offensive. So it's all going to hinge on health this year. Like, as long as the tackles don't get injured again, because what's his name? What's
Darisaw?
Right tackle. Yeah. Right? No, not Darisaw. The other guy. I keep forgetting his name. He got partially tore his right tackle. How did I know that guy.
I'm sorry to say, but if you don't know the name, then nobody else.
No, I know his name. It's just I'm blanking right now. But because he partially tore his Achilles. He should be ready for the season opener, according to all the reports I've heard. But like, as long as they can stay healthy, it's basically the season's gonna hinge on the interior all line getting better, and our if Flores can actually scheme up pressure and stuff like that. Because I don't think the DBs are going to be necessarily a strong point. I don't think they're going to be a weakness per se, but I don't think they're going to be like, they might be below average, because I don't necessarily have faith in Booth or Evans.
So let me be real with you right here. You got some guys that you're hoping that are going to be below average. Let me tell you something about.
No, I'm not hoping that they are, but yeah, that's why I think they're going to be.
No, I think that one thing is for sure: the offensive coordinators in this division that have Justin Jefferson to attack. They are going to attack your questionable secondary, and they're going to test them. And if they don't, they're going to be the worst secondary in the league, because they're going to go after those guys. So they will get tested early, and they will get tested often. There's another.
It's all going to hinge on Flores being able to scheme up pressure. Because say what you want about Zimmer, he was a wizard at scheming up pressure. And if they can get back to that hides holes in your secondary.
Well,
right. We've said it all along. A great front seven helps a mediocre secondary.
Right. Exactly. If the secondary can just be mediocre, I'm happy.
He needs talent, though. Brian Flores got put into a trick box when they got rid of his talent the minute that he walked through the door. I bet he didn't sign up for that. I don't know.
I mean, not all of that. Like, Eric Kendricks he was not the same player anymore. And what's his name? Zadarius Smith disappeared for half the year. He got a bone bruise and then disappeared for half the year. So in my opinion, they didn't lose a lot, but they didn't add a lot either.
let me stop you. So
You like that?
we don't allow nonsense on this television broadcast right here. You can't come in and just discredit every player that got off of your team.
I don't.
Kendricks was a top 10 linebacker that you lost.
He was a top 10 linebacker in the
Smith
division.
was your best
That was
pass
it.
rusher that you lost. And
He wasn't the best pass rusher. Based on what?
Zadarius Smith was a pass rusher that I had to listen to Viking fan after Viking fan after Viking fan talk about how these guys are the best pass rushing duo. Zadarius Smith, and Hunter. Oh, these guys are the best in the league. They're going to take over the league.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they're gone, you sound like
no. See, you misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with. He was a good pass rusher, but he disappeared for half the year. That you can literally check the stats. He did nothing after week 9.
So
I think he had half a sack.
So you brought in half a sack Davenport, and that is
right.
and that's going to be better. Okay.
I never said that.
So what I'm just trying to keep you realistic right here. You lost a lot of talent.
Trust me, I'm the most realistic Vikings fan you can. I don't think the Vikings are going to be that good this year, but I also think they're going to sleep. They're going to fail into winning the division because I don't think the division is going to be that good.
Well, that makes one of us right here. So Sarah says O'Neal. Let's see. Molly says play running back number 33. Mo.
Pass.
Curtis Healy says Harrison Smith gets traded this year. I don't know about that.
No, if anything, he gets cut next year.
Honestly, if you want
I think that they redid his contract and he's a free agent this year.
Well, here's a good thing about Harrison Smith is you got a guy like Lewis Seen, you got a young secondary that he's going to be able to help them along the ways, and hopefully he can teach them how to be pros. So Zadarius Smith played only 9 games.
No, he played more than that. He played more than that.
Here's what
he only showed up in 9 games. That's the thing.
See, when Lion fans lost Jamal Williams, all Lion fans love to just dog on Jamal Williams like Jamal Williams right now.
Jamal Williams was good though.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to caution everybody out there from doing is just shortchanging the guys that are walking out the door. Aaron Rodgers walking out the door. Don't pretend like you didn't just lose an All-Pro when he walks out the door and then start talking about all of the things that he did wrong. When Lions trade TJ Hawkinson, don't tell me how he used to just drop all of the passes and everything that he did bad here. He was a top 10 tight end here. Stop it. We traded a great player. Don't defend it yet. I'm not done yet. And then we got the Chicago Bears. They want to say that Roquan Smith was garbage when he went out the door, and they got a second. This next guy steps up, and he's going to be the greatest thing in the world. Stop all of that stuff. These are players. Cap hell is what you are going through right now, Minnesota Viking fan. Whatever way you look at it, you have to cut good players when you don't have any money.
You do. That's why they cut Kirk. I mean, not Kirk, Cook. That's why they cut Cook. He was a cap casualty.
Yep. So it is next man up. That's where you're at. You're at next man up. You're hoping that these players are going to be good. But now, Jeremy, I'll let you chime in there.
No, I always said TJ Hawkinson was a top 10 receiving talent. The problem is he was a bottom 10 blocking talent. That was the only thing that was wrong with him.
Yeah, the Vikings don't need a blocking tight end, though. They have 2 elite tackles, and they signed a really good blocking tight end. So I'm not worried about his blocking. He just catch passes.
Yep, they have went big in the NFC North. It's a weird thing. Like, we build a defense in Detroit that is based on more speed. And what does the other teams do? They go out and get Robert Tonyan to put with Kmet. You got the Vikings with the best blocking tight end in the NFL along with TJ Hawkinson. And then Green Bay Packers go and draft 2 tight ends in the 2nd round. They're trying to counteract our speed with big. And I'm wondering if it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work because
I
speed
mean,
kills.
it could. There's been rumors that the Vikings are going to go more 21 personnel. So we'll see. Or not. I mean, my bad. 12 personnel. So we'll see. I mean, I would like that. That's what San Francisco does.
You guys should be running that like Drew Brees with like West Coast offense with all them pass catchers all over the place. Spread them out.
Right.
But but there's one thing that is for sure in Minnesota. They are now no longer going to be stacking 8 in the box. They will challenge you to run the football with those running backs.
And I don't know if they're gonna be able to. Like, I hope so. Madison's all right. He's not the best. We hope that what's his name? Damn it. Backup, our not third string anymore. The guy from North Carolina. We're hoping he's going to be good because he spent last year hurt. And then Wangu's a kick returner. He's slated as a third string running back. He's not going to be a third string running back. And you have to hope McBride does something too. So people want to run it back by committee until it just doesn't work.
Well, you want McBride to work out because
definitely.
Because what that is a 4-year contract that you got for $1.50 for 4 years, and that's better than $12 million. If he's even a special teams guy, that's a good value right there. Tim says, "What up, Joe?"
Hey.
Calvin says, "TJ never seemed the same for Detroit after that big hit."
Year one.
Yeah, he tried to jump over somebody and got flipped and got injured for a little while. And he never did.
Sometimes you need to change the scenery.
Yeah, he was pretty good to stay down for you guys. And without Thielen, he'll probably get a lot of those targets. So
it was Thielen's time. Like, I like Thielen. But it was time. It's one of those people like I think I was 22 when he got his when he finally got his due in like 2015, 2016. So it's weird. It's weird just seeing him just be all washed. It broke my heart, but it was time.
Okay, so I'm going to make you put it out here. So here it is. The way too early, and we don't do ranges. Don't say 7 to 10. I want you to give me a Minnesota Vikings prediction for the 2023 season. And too early, but you can change it down the road. But what do you say? Say you?
I say they're going to go 10-7 and win the division.
10-7. Oh, you think 10 wins will win the division? Okay, I like that.
I do. I don't think the division's good at all. Because the Packers got lucky with 30 years of elite quarterback play, and they're about to go through it. Said I can't wait.
All right. So Base Jiren says 10-7, win division. Vikings. All right.
But I will say, if the Vikings win 3 or 4 games this year and get Caleb Williams, I'm happy with that too.
That's pretty crazy because the other 2 teams in your division, that's a great. Oh God, that's good. That's good. Let's hit this one up. You want to talk? You want to hit some of this up, Jeremy? I like this talk right here already.
Yeah, I mean, because you're talking about getting one of the better quarterbacks coming out this draft. There's Michael Penix, there's Caleb Williams, and there's Drake May. That's the big 3, right?
Right. So let me tee this up real quick, because the other teams in a division that are out there, if you're a Packers fan or you are a Bears fan as well, the Bears have 2 first-round picks next year. And the Packers are probably going to have 2 first-round picks, if not, a first and a second-round pick, to be able to maneuver themselves if their quarterback is dog crap, to be able to jump ahead of a Minnesota team. So what do you think as far as positioning here? This Caleb Williams, is he that much better than these other quarterbacks?
I think he is. And as far as like Drake May's, as far as I know, he's consensus number 2, and I like him. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, so I've watched him often. I like Drake May, but he's more of a Kirk Cousins, but he can actually run. So it's weird. I don't think he's going to be as good as Caleb Williams is, but I think he's a safer prospect personally.
Right? So
yeah. Oh yeah, Drake May is a stud, yes. But I think that Caleb Williams is if there's one quarterback that has that potential to be special, to be Caleb Williams. Yes, to be him. Yes, to be him is going to be Caleb Williams.
What do you say about that, Jeremy? Is it Caleb? Is he him?
He is that guy that everybody loves, the athleticism guy. He's the one. That's what he's getting at. Drake May is more of the traditional pocket passer and runs if he has to.
Gosh, I love that. Okay, so man, that's crazy because this year they had a bunch of quarterbacks that were drafted. Who's going to be the best quarterback that was out of this 2023 draft class? Who's going to have the best year?
This year, I think it's going to be Stroud. I think Stroud's going to have the best year. No, never mind. Agree. You said this year, right? I don't think Stroud's going to play that much.
Really?
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. He went to the Panthers, right? Yeah, he went to the Panthers, Texans. Right?
He went to the Texans.
Did he
Stroud
really? Did. Oh, never mind. Yeah, he'll have the best. He'll definitely have the best then. I was getting them mixed up.
Stroud, and then you got Bryce Young, who is over in Carolina.
I think Bryce Young's probably going to be the best QB. But if you put a gun to my head and tell me who's going to have the best season this year, I think it's going to be what's his name, Stroud.
Stroud.
Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think he's just going to be in a better position to do well. I don't know why. I trust DeMeco Ryans.
Sarah says none. All of them will be busts.
That's awful.
I think the best one we won't see this year.
Well, I'm taking Hendon Hooker off. He's redshirted.
I know. That's what I was getting at.
I do think that Hendon is going to be the best pro out of those guys. But Bryce Young, I mean, he has all the talent, but, he's 5'1".
Just really, I was about to say, he's really short. So.
But, and CJ Stroud's got the build for it. And here's something that's there's a thing that happens when you have, when you draft a lot and you have a couple of first round picks. Now they got 2 first round picks for 3 years in a row with the Deshaun Watson thing. So they've been able to stack that team up with a bunch of young talent. And when you level up all the ships, we got when the tide rises, it levels up all of the ships. So all these guys are getting better at the same time, a lot like the Detroit Lions first 2-year team. And now you're going to drop CJ Stroud into that with a whole bunch of young talent. I think that Houston sets themselves up to maybe even be a sleeper team, even in that division that people aren't even talking about.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get better that fast, but like I said, I trust DeMeco Ryans. He's a leader of men. He's just a great coach. So I do think eventually that they're going to get there.
So there's maybe an opportunity there is what
yes, for sure.
I'm getting at. And then you got Carolina, which I do believe that team was pretty well stacked last year, other than,
they gave Thielen like $20 million. They're not going to do much this year.
Well, I don't know. They have a lot of good young, offensive line. They can push people around. They can get a running game going. And Bryce Young, he was a number 1 overall pick. If he can see over the offensive line, then maybe he could throw a pass.
Right. It's just like if Thielen is going to be your number 1, you're not going to go very far. Not if this was 2018 Thielen.
Didn't they also get?
I would be like, the sleeper team.
Yeah, they got.
Didn't they also got Shark in the offseason too?
Yeah, they got.
Did they really? Shark. Yeah, they'll be all right then. If he can stay healthy, they'll be all right.
I think DJ Shark is just above a replacement player. He's
a burner, so
he's a burner.
You need those people,
but he's not like a top end type of wide receiver. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I think that he's a solid number 2, number 3, probably more of a number 3. But he's a solid dude. He's like Marvin Jones. He's like
he's like Aldrick Robinson from the 2018 Vikings.
He's like KJ Osborne. If I'm comparing him to somebody on your team.
Yeah, for sure.
Sarah says, I'm scared a pass rusher will kill Bryce. Yeah, he might even get fallen on by one of his own offensive linemen.
I mean, Drew Brees survived for 20 years. Bryce Young should be all right.
Yeah, but you're talking about he came in with Willie Rofe and that massive O-line to protect him there at the Saints. It's a little different of a situation and a better
I mean,
coach.
he started out with San Diego though, and he hurt his shoulder. That's the only reason why he was available.
And they,
Woody comes in. I think Woody is yawning on the thought of the Vikings right here. Oh gosh.
what's up, Woody?
Yeah. What up, Woody? If you want, I'm gonna have to be done here in like 10 minutes, but I could.
I got to be done because I got to eat before I got to go to work. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, go ahead, plug your show real quick before you go, Jeremy.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, 8 p.m., I'm doing the NFL Roundtable Talks Division Reviews. It's our division on the table, the NFC North. Come in. It is not a trash talking show. It is about going over your state of your team. And then on Friday, I have my Lions Fan Cave chat where we're going to be talking anything Lions, just like we do here.
So go ahead.
And that is Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions, airing twice a week during the off season, 5 or 6 days a week during the season.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for popping on
and check out my writings about the Lions and the NFL at the South Florida Tribune.com.
And you heard it here first. It's Smoking Jeremy P.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Jeremy. You can also check us out here, Detroit Lions News. That's where we're broadcasting. We're also broadcasting into Detroit Lions Villain Squad. That's our page. Please go give us a follow. Helps us get out there. Helps us get the reach out there. If you're a Bear fan, go follow Mike the Bear Fan. You can check out Woody and the Hallis Hall Report on Wednesday nights every week. And then if you're a Packer head, then you would go follow Bill the Packer Fan, and he is our resident Packer fan on the main event right here. And if you're a Viking fan, well, we don't really have a page for that, but Justin Jefferson is an awesome wide receiver, so I'll show you a picture of him real quick. And here we are talking some football, and I got a Viking fan based Jiren. How do I say that?
Jiren.
Jaren?
Yeah.
Can I just call you Jaren? I don't have to say based every time.
By all means, yeah.
Okay. So Jaren's in here representing the Vikings. He had the courage to come on here and defend his team. So kudos.
No, I watch y'all all the time, but I'm always offshore, so I can't really do this while I'm offshore.
Yeah. Sarah says you should just have a podcast called Kneecaps. Well, I mean, I think Jeremy's about the closest to that. That's biting kneecaps, Detroit Lions style. Oh, now we have Woody, the Bear Fan, is in the house, and we're talking about
what's going on, sir?
What is going on?
Nothing much.
Oh man, this has been a fun day already. I'm glad that we can talk a little bit of Bears too. I am intrigued to see what the Bears can accomplish this year because they're in a lot of the position that the Lions are, where you got a lot of new pieces and
5 wins max.
You guys want to go? Well, I'll let you guys. You guys can go out. Give your justification on 5 wins, and then Woody retort to it.
They just don't have the personally, they don't have the coaching for it, and they don't have that much talent, in my opinion. I'm just gonna put it out there like that. You're not coming off a year off of 3 wins and thinking you're gonna get much more than that the next year. And I don't think that they're gonna coach up Justin Fields like he needs to be. I'm unlike most people and most fans in the division. I actually like Justin Fields. I think he'd be really good, but I don't think they have the coaching, and I'm afraid they're going to ruin him, like they've done like every other quarterback since '85.
Well, go ahead and retort to that, Woody.
I agree with you about, 3 wins. They're not going to get much more. I say they're 7-10. I went to their schedule.
I can see that.
But the question is that if you're a coach, if you're Eberflus, how would you coach Justin Fields? What I would do is I would make more design runs for him. Have the offense exciting, like when they had Tariq Cohen. They got PJ Walker as our backup quarterback. He can go in for a play or two, or double reverse, this and that. They got to get excited for this offense. They got to do some plays out of the ordinary. They can't be just doing, because I'm sick of the 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, run up the middle. So let's be safe and punt the ball. No, you got to go for it. 1st and 2nd downs are really important. And we got to start scoring in the 3rd quarter. We were last in the league in scoring in the 3rd quarter and last in sacks too on defense. So like I said, I do agree about they're not going to get much more, but their schedule is in their favor a little bit, majority. I say they're 7-10. That's what I've been saying the whole time. I think our process, it's a 2-year process for us because of all those new pieces we have. It's like our offensive line's coming back. We'd sign Nate Davis. We're going to, move Whitehair to the center. Plus we got our offensive lineman from Tennessee, our first pick, Larry Borum. They said he's a lot better in training camp as well. Where we're lacking is edge rushers. So we need to get an edge rusher, or Gibson's got to play his ass off this year. That's just my opinion on the Bears season. I'm not optimistic about this year. I'm not a homer. Russell will tell you that. I mean, I have people saying, "Oh, Bears 12-5." Okay, no. They'll be 7-10.
I think both of you guys made great points to that, and I loved what Jaron said about the coaching staff, because all I hear from Bear fan is we got better. We got this guy. We got that guy. We got this guy. And it's like most of the people outside of your own organization don't even know who your coach is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not like you'll see a lot of NFC North fans just trash Justin Fields. I don't think it's Justin Fields' fault. Just like he's not being coached right. Like I've seen this guy play really good. It's
not Justin Fields. But you got to think though. You have something going against you. You let me know what Ohio State quarterback ever panned off in the NFL. None. Absolutely none.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you get thrown into a team without an offensive line, thank God he was a running quarterback, right? Or we would have had no wins last year. So if you get thrown into that system without an offensive line, I don't care if you're Tom Brady, you ain't winning it on that team. The Tom Brady, that's when Tom Brady was drafted, and he had a tough first year, whatever. But what did Bill Belichick always built his team around? Offensive line.
It was the trenches.
Yep.
But my buddy was actually the center in New England, Chris Copen. He actually was the center when Tom Brady was there. And then he got traded to Denver and played with Peyton Manning. Oh, what a life you had. So it's like we had our pieces. I think Tevin Jenkins, he's got to have a good year this year. I mean, his head has to be focused. And I like the moves, like I said, Nate Davis and moving Cody Whitehair, getting rid of Mustafa. I couldn't stand that piece of shit. But Cody Whitehair is going to be the leader of this offensive line, and I'm excited for it. But it's going to be a 2-year process for the Bears. That's why I'm not too up. Now, next year, I'm all playoffs next year. You're not going to change my mind about that. So.
Okay, so allow me to be the homer, because we want to be able to show all sides here. And if I am a homer Bear fan and I'm looking at something that I really, really like, is that DJ Moore move, getting him in that trade was to me an underrated, like maybe the most savvy move of the offseason for you. And the fact that DJ Moore is the type of dude that is a quarterback's best friend when he escapes the pocket. He's the dude that just kind of finds himself wide open in the middle of the field, do a little dump off, and then he can make something happen after the catch. Now, I know that you're thinking 7-win, but if I'm an optimistic Bear fan, and then you can have Justin Fields make that progression, he doesn't even have to throw good. He doesn't even have to be a great thrower. He just has to be able to make you think he could throw the ball, and then it's over. If I'm an optimistic Bear fan, and to that, even without a great pass rush, you're not going to win too many more games than that. But I would say that you could say a high optimism of maybe 9 or 10 games. And
If the Bears win 9 or 10 games, they need to like give Eberflus a lifetime contract because their roster is not that good in my opinion.
Well,
this year there's going to be no excuse for weapons wise. You know, Mooney's coming. They say Mooney's coming back off his injury, better than ever. You know, they got Claypool. I doubt it if he'll have a bad year like he did last year.
And then progression.
Yes,
you have the leveling, like when the tide rises, where you have Brisker, you have Gordon, you have these guys that are going into a year that the tide is going to level all of them ships up. All of those guys are going to be better.
And like I told Russell last week, I think it was, is that we signed Robert Tonyan, which killed us every time the Packers played us. And we got to get Cole Kmet involved as well. That's like I said, when we're inside the 20, yes, Bears are always run first, pass second, whatever. But remember when we had Jimmy Graham, when we had Zach Miller, when we had Trey Burton, when we're inside the 20, it was lights out. It was always a touchdown. Always. And, when we had Alshon Jeffrey, too, even Brandon Marshall.
Oh, there's a name. Oh,
man. It was like the Bears have trouble when they get within the 20-yard line. They have problems getting to the 20-yard line. But still, when they get to the 20-yard line, you gotta go for your big guys. And I think Cole Kmet or Robert Tonyan is going to be our dark sleep horse this year. Within the 20.
At the same time, hit that 2 tight end big set right there and run right off of that corner. I like that as far as something that I'm scared of, because the way Lions set their defense up is more of a speed. We do that 4-2-5 where that third person is usually a safety that can also tackle really well, or
right.
They
at least to a light box.
Right, but if you go big at that, well, I mean, Tanyan's gonna, put a little cornerback on his ass, so I like that. That's intriguing. The speed versus power.
But you see, I think at that point you would rather like Tonyan and Kmet be the ones that are quote unquote killing you over like DJ Moore or somebody because if DJ Moore and Mooney and Claypool are the ones that are tearing you up, you're probably getting a 30 spot put on you. But if it's if it's Tonyan and Kmet, that's not going to give you 30 points.
If our offensive line, let me see, hey Woody G Walker, I know. Yes, I was excited about that. But I'm saying
if podcast. That's like if you want to look at Bear Fan, right? You got the Hallis Hall report, which I would say are the realistic, like straight and narrow Bear fans. The CNG podcast, they're all up on that.
Awesome. Like I was saying, if this offensive line gels, it's going to be. We're going to average. We were what, number 2 in the league last year on first drive touchdowns, and then we just took a shit the rest of the game. But you got to think that something was working in the beginning of the game, but when the game went on, it faltered. But if our offensive line gels, it's going to be 25 points a game, 25 points a game, because there's be no problem this year with weapons wise with us. So if we beef up that defensive line, we'll be in every game. You heard it here first from the.
And that's all that matters. If you're in a game, there's always a chance. So
yes,
that's right. And when you can run the football, you have the best chance to close that game out. Because it ain't about scoring points. It's about sticking their head under the water when the time is right. And
scoring points helps.
Yeah, but when you can kneel down and go ahead and watch that time run out, that's the best way to
Oh,
win.
for sure, yeah.
And-
But,
and
but
Justin-
if you're putting like 40 points on somebody, more than likely they're not going to be able to match that.
Just like I said, Justin Fields, if you go back to the highlights last year, he's not a bad thrower. Like, even if you go back to his Ohio State days, he's not a bad thrower. And it
It's just his
showed last
decision making.
it showed, yeah, it's decision. It's like another Jay Cutler. You know what I mean? But Jay Cutler broke the Bears record for passing yards. But if he has time, yeah, he was running out of the pocket and he was number one rush, whatever. But, you know, throwing on the run, and I respect Justin Fields and the Bears because they have about 10 players right now training, and I have it on my page, training together down in Florida. So right then and there, they're trying, and there'd be no excuses this year.
No excuses. And you got two first round draft picks. Kudos to your general manager for setting you up that just in case this Justin Fields experiment don't work, you are in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes with
Yep.
that extra draft capital. So
Yep.
I like that from your GM's position.
Yeah, Ryan Poles is doing phenomenal.
But I'm up against it, man. This has been awesome. I love the fact that we had everything represented except for the Packer heads. We didn't get any Packer heads on here talking any trash
We don't need them
on here,
either.
so they must not be all that confident on Jordan Love like they say that
No.
they are.
Bill doesn't let him on another show.
They'll
That's
say
what
that they are, but they know better. QB purgatory.
Yeah, Bill won't let him on another show.
But Woody, you on the Hallis Hall Report, they're going to be doing that thing every single Wednesday night
And Sunday morning.
and Sunday morning, right before
Yes.
when the season starts. They're going live right before the games. Get on
Yep.
there, get all of your good bear down paraphernalia from the Hallis Hall Report and Woody the Bears fan.
And I'll be
That's
doing at the end of Sunday morning show, it's going to be called the Woody Wrap Up. I'm going to say my prediction and what we got to do to win. So
Are you going against point spread or are you just going straight picks?
I'm going straight up.
Okay, right
Yeah,
on.
we're going.
Right on. We're going to be doing something on our open mic. So when we do have our open mics on Monday night during the season, we are going to do our locks of the week, which means that one of the 16 games that are out there, we're going to have all of the panel people are going to pick against the spread, put your record right out there and see what happens. And we're going to keep tracks of the record, and we might give
The suicide team, Russell. Suicide pick.
suicide pick. I picked 13 winners last year. I was 13 out of 17.
Nice.
So,
and I won 3 out of my 7 fantasy leagues too.
We need to do a fantasy special. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow when we come on here. This is an everyday thing right here. This is NFC North talk with Russell Wayne, and you never know who could show up on here, like the Hallis Hall Report. And every day, 11 a.m. during the week, and that's Eastern time. And we love being able to broadcast into all these great spots right here. And I know that they're not great for everybody. That's why this is the home of the bad takes, because you can assure yourself that you're 75% of the time you're going to be full of crap on this show. That's for sure. But the Detroit Lions news. But thank you everybody for watching, and for Woody and Jiren and everybody out there that's watching. We appreciate you. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. One Pride.
Peace out.
All right, guys.